Oh, it says this meeting is being recorded. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting. Sure. Okay.
Perfect. And we are rolling. We're back with episode 3 of Reset. I brought more friends with me today. KT from last episode when we talked about self-love and relationships. And today we have Lashanique with us, friend from high school. I'm gonna throw you right into the fire like I did the first episode, and I'm gonna put you on the spot. I want you to introduce yourself. Tell our friends who you are, what your story is, all that fun stuff.
Okay. Like my story as in like me personally, my life and how I feel about myself.
So whatever you feel is important for us to know.
Okay.
Talk about how we met. You go for it, and then we're gonna dive right into the topic of discussion for today.
I'm like thinking so hard. Okay, my name is Lashanique. I'm 26. My story, I would say, for me, when it comes to body positivity and just being comfortable in my skin, I think it took a long time, but I don't know when it started or when it happened. You just wake up and just feel like, okay, I feel like I don't want to be sad anymore. And you just like force yourself not to be sad. You do everything in the most positive way to just stop being sad. And you tell yourself one day you're going to be happy. For me, that was kind of the case. It took a long time. It actually took for me to leave my ex-fiance to be this way. Like I knew if I left, I needed to find some type of peace. And that's really what it was for me. I just didn't want to be, I wanted to fill a void that no one else could fill. So now I just feel like all I want to do is uplift people. All I want to do is comfort and talk to people because I know how hard it is to like make yourself feel better about things that you have no control of. So that's really my story.
I love that for you. I love that you're at a point in your life where that's how you're feeling. I genuinely, like, with anyone that I talk to, whether they're strangers or like coworkers, friends, family, I just wish that on every single individual.
No, seriously,
it's a great feeling. It is. And it's just like, wow. Like, because when you're in that moment and you're so like you're insecure and you're sad and just whatever you got going on, like you just feel like that's it for you. You're just gonna feel like that forever. So to have that moment where you're like, wow. Like, it's
do you ever
so
like, I don't know if it's just me, but like, do you ever like, you're having a great time and then like when you're by yourself, you get emotional because you're so shocked that you're living within that moment that you've always like wanted to feel. Like I even just stop and I'll cry like, thank you, God, because I didn't think I would get here. I didn't think that I would ever be this happy with myself in my own skin, loving myself. I always thought that I wasn't capable of having that or doing that for myself. So to be in that moment, I just get emotional sometimes because I'm just like, wow, I'm so happy to be here. Like,
it's a beautiful moment, man.
I love it.
Yeah. So, this episode was originally supposed to be about male mental health and male body positivity, but I failed at gently bullying my guy friends to come on the show and talk about it. So the team and I decided that we're going to hold off on that and wait until season 2 because we want to have that male perspective because it's just going to be more effective. So I'm hoping, I'm not giving up on them, and I'm probably going to get really annoying with it. And they're going to be like, Joss, really? I'll be like, yeah, really, go on the show and talk about it. So we'll get there eventually.
But I think I have a friend that will be very interested in that too.
Okay. I love that. Absolutely. But you actually shared a status on Facebook. And when I was kind of brainstorming, because I was like, I got to find a topic for episode 3 because I've had this planned out for like 2 years. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it was something along the lines of, why is it that when bigger people are confident in themselves and they love themselves, why is that considered brave? Why is it, you're so confident, I love your confidence, but it's not necessarily the same with smaller people. And I thought that was interesting. And I shared it with KT and she had, she agreed, but she also had, like not in what's the word I want to use? Oh my God. Kind of an opinion going in the opposite direction, but not also
like a counterpoint,
not invalidating the first one. So it's like two different viewpoints of just how no matter your size, no matter what, women just cannot win when it comes to confidence. And I thought that was interesting. And then after that, I saw another post that someone shared on Facebook, and I was like, wow, I'm going to use that. And I screenshot it, and then I'm going to read it to you guys, and then we'll go from there and kickstart our conversation. Okay. But so I don't know who shared this. It was just something that someone else shared, and I was like, wow, that is a great point. So it says, stop acting like fat girls aren't wearing what they want because of lack of self-confidence. Half of the time, the shit is not available. Then when it is, the price is ridiculously high and it's size wrong. Then if you get it, it's a 90% chance you're going to have to deal with harassment and violence. Y'all literally have no problem taking pics of fat girls in public, just trying to live and sharing it. Then it goes on to say, fat girl kisses her boyfriend. Here y'all come with a secret camera and a meme about tax season. She wears a crop top. Here y'all come with Pooh Bear comparisons. Mm-hmm. She dances. Here y'all come with a viral video with millions of jokes in the comments. So honestly, sometimes if I want to experience something and minimize the possibility of being the butt of everybody's joke, I'm gonna choose to dress according to what I have the energy for. Self-love isn't the problem, people are. And I was like,
wow.
It's just like sometimes it's one of those things that you never really realize actually happens, mm-hmm. but it's happening. And so I thought that was perfect with the status that you had posted. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys and see what your thoughts are on it. Like, where did that status come from? Like, what set you off to like put those people in their place and tell them, why is it this way?
One thing about it though, you know what? I wrote that post, but I'm always thinking, I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes so I can empathize and understand where their mindset is. When it comes to now, when I said what I said about bigger people, I also thought about, do we automatically assume that smaller women are automatically confident? I'm sorry, my Alexa just went off. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. She's still talking. Okay. So my thing is, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to come up with some type of reasoning as to why people think that we're like, we just automatically are confident when we are a certain way, or they just go, oh, I love your confidence, I love this, or I love that. Thank you. But like, why wouldn't you say that to the next person if they were smaller than me? Because you would automatically assume because they're smaller that they have confidence. Now, there's a lot of smaller women who deal or struggle with body positivity too as well. Like,
absolutely.
Yes.
And I think that we assume them to be already confident, as they assume us to be, you know, like we have like low self-esteem. They assume that we, because of our size. So I think it's just like a women thing. Like, if we knew we were smaller, we would automatically feel like we would be confident. When a skinny person will be like, wow, I'm this size and she's so confident. Oh my God, I want that. So I don't think they generally mean to be mean about it or mean to say it in a way, but I just feel like if I were smaller, you wouldn't think that about me, about being so confident. You would just be like, oh, okay, you know, this is normal. You know what I mean? But now, I mean, we're a certain size, and to them, it's not normal because they're their size, and people like their sizes. So they're just shocked to see someone, you know, our size and just be like, wow, you love your body? Like, yeah,
why not? Like, why is that so not normal? Why is that such a problem? And that is exactly where the love revolution came from. I was just, because the current body positivity movement only focuses on bigger people, bigger women specifically, which is great. No one's saying that they don't deserve a platform to be encouraged to love themselves, but what about the women that are in between, the women that are smaller? What about guys? What about our friends in the LGBTQ plus community? Like, it has to be all inclusive or not at all. And I love that you were thinking about the opposite end of that, like the other side, because that's exactly what KT was saying when we were having our discussion. So if you want to throw out that whole opposite opinion. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're
Sometimes
good.
this whole unscripted thing is really awkward, so it's fine. But
You're good.
I like it because it's raw.
Right. Yeah. No, I love everything you just said, but when Jocelyn had brought it up to me, my initial thing was like, oh my God, yes. But also the flip side of them being, you know, how smaller women or thinner women, whatever we're going to characterize, when they are clearly confident in themselves, they can end up being villainized for it as being self-centered and conceited or narcissistic.
Oh my God.
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot win no matter what. We cannot win.
And
I
there's
think we as women
definitely
as
a
a whole,
societal problem. It's
women are catty, so we always categorize a person, and I don't think that's always a good thing. I just like to, that's why I'm not so judgmental to people, because I don't want to judge you off of what I like see as appearance. I would like to get to know you first, because I don't want to judge you. I don't like to be judged at all. So I do think because we're so catty and we, you know, put everyone in a category of who they are because of what we feel, or, you know, what they show to us, doesn't necessarily mean that they're really that type of person when they're alone. Maybe they do it as a defense mechanism. Maybe they're trying to be as normal as possible, just like we are. And we're just trying to work through it. That's why I just always say, like, I would never bash a woman for their looks. I would never bash a woman for how they might have acted at that moment, because you never know what a person is going through mentally. People don't speak about their feelings a lot. Maybe, you know, I mean, for me, I need to speak about my feelings. That's the only way I feel like I can continue enjoying the love for myself, is if I acknowledge how I'm feeling at the moment and being able to talk about it. That's just one way I cope. But some people don't cope that way. Like if you, I don't know if anybody has watched Ginny and Georgia.
oh my God, I love that show.
Oh my God, I love that show. I forget her name, but she was like the shortest, smallest one there. And she taped her legs up. And she was like the shortest and smallest one there. And I forgot what her name is, but she was beautiful. Her body was beautiful, and she didn't love it. Her parents got divorced and she was just going through things, but she was just coping through her friends, but not telling them, you know, I feel like I'm fat. I feel like I'm ugly. You know, when that guy called me a whale, you know, that hurt my feelings. I take my legs up. Like, that is, seeing someone smaller than me go through that hurt my feelings, even if it was
it's
a
heartbreaking.
scripted show. Yeah, because like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I would never want someone to feel like I'm coming at them for, you know, how their body is shaped. Or I just feel like everyone should really, really get to know their body and understand that no one is shaped like the next person. You really have to love each and every part of yourself in order to move on and be happy.
Preach, girl. Preach.
I love
like,
it.
If you are not going to be in great relationships if you don't love yourself, you're going to take whatever loves you, really.
Yeah.
You're going to take whatever loves you.
Yeah, and that's
for that moment.
For like not just like romantic relationships, but also like your friendships, your family relationships. Like, until you truly like love yourself, and you're gonna put up with a lot of stuff that nobody should be pulling up with. But that's where narcissistic people, that's what they feed off of, really. But it's just, oh man.
Oh man,
I feel like this is what happened last time. Like, something was said and you were like, oh my gosh.
I know, I can see you.
It's because people, like, we don't talk about these things, and we don't acknowledge it, like, as a society, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like, well, I don't experience that, so it can't be real.
Yeah.
Whereas the conversation should really be, this is how I feel, but this is also, I recognize and I acknowledge, and I, like, I think I said understand twice, but like, I see where you're coming from, and I'm not going to invalidate your existence just because I don't experience it myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like, just in this
just like
10-minute conversation, how many more perspectives have just the three of us been opened up to? Just talking about it.
And the world is going to be better for all those perspectives that we just pulled out of this conversation, because like, I don't know, like, people, like, it's like people know that we need to be talking about these things, but it's so uncomfortable, which it is. Like anything about like life in general, body positivity, mental health, it's feelings in general. Like life is a mess and it's uncomfortable, but like once you talk about it and the more people feel like they're being seen and feel like they're being heard, like it just kind of unravels itself and we're all kind of just like on our own separate journeys, but together to like healing and growth. And that's exactly what I want the Love Revolution to do. That's exactly what I want the show to do. Like I was telling KT earlier how I have a host at work. One of my hosts, she's like, I'm subscribed to the channel. I'm ready for episode 3. Like, I feel so seen. I feel so heard. And like that, like to me is like the most precious thing. Like, I don't care about likes. I don't care about anything else. Just to know that there's at least one person out there that we have made a difference for is like, that's enough to keep going for like 20 more years, you know what I mean?
No, seriously.
But like people we just don't talk about it. And so we're gonna start talking about it. So
yeah. I feel like this just occurred to me. I feel like the unfortunate part of, or like what you were saying about Lashanique, about as far as like only larger women, like when you're confident, like, oh, you're being so brave or that sort of thing. With the society how it is, I feel like it would be so much better, like we would all feel less catty if we could all recognize that confidence is bravery, period. Like especially in this society that we have, and just how society and media and advertising in particular, right, picks apart women's bodies for any size, shape, anything, for you to be able to say like, no, I love this. I love what this looks like. I'm good. Like all of us should, like, how good would it be if we could all see that as bravery in each other and not feel like that, like all those negativity, all that judgment towards each other, you know?
Right.
Like how good would that be?
Oh my God. We would take over the world if we could all collectively just, we'll get to that point eventually. I have faith that we will, but like that's a very good
that's point. A lot of people's minds to change because there's too many people on earth. But you know what? I think that the more we push loving yourself out there, you're bound to catch that. Bound to I feel like energy is literally real. Like you can't, I feel like we are really made of energy. When you're sitting next to a sad person, you feel sad, you empathize. When you're sitting next to a happy person, you feel happy, you feel energetic. It's the same thing. When you give off positivity, they feel that whether they acknowledge it or not, it's on you now.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the more you push it, it's gonna touch you. So that's just my thing. I try not to let negative energy get to me. You know me from high school, Jocelyn. I was a hothead. I reacted. I did so much like fighting with people because I was so upset how people treated me. I didn't want them to think it was okay. So I reacted physically, verbally. You know, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was just like, I need you to hear me. It was a defense mechanism for myself. When you become, after that, I think that's when I became really depressed after high school. And I was doing a lot of harmful things to my body. I wasn't eating properly. I was doing that from 6th grade through high school though. I wasn't treating myself kind at all. Like literally, I felt like everyone got the best of me. Like they were right. I'm not beautiful. I'm ugly. You know, half the time I would go to sleep with makeup on because I didn't want to see how I looked in the mirror the next day. You know what I mean? Right. The makeup was my defense mechanism too. And people would just be like, wow, you're really great at makeup. Like you should do it, you know, as a passion. But for me, it was just like, I'm doing it because if you saw how I looked without makeup, oh my God, you might think I'm like the ugliest person in the world. I don't know when it happened, but I can go days without it now. And now when I do my makeup, I don't do it to cover up. I do it because I feel like, oh, I'm going to enhance this feature. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want people to think that, what if I was to get a boyfriend and he's like, you're going to bed with makeup? You know what I mean? Like, that's just weird. But for me, it was just like, I couldn't stand the thought of looking at myself. I don't know when it happened. I literally prayed for days where I would just be okay with how I looked. But it's just like, I decided, like, you have to make that decision for yourself, that you won't let people treat you any type of way. You don't have to deal with it, but you also don't have to fight back with your words. You don't have to fight back with your fists. All you have to do is just still work on yourself and be happy for yourself. And when it came time for people to start knowing, like, or seeing that I was confident in myself, oh, you're so confident, you're so confident. And now it's to the point for me, it was just like, okay, but why am I so confident to you now? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's the reason why I wrote the post, because I'm just like, people write that to me or say that to me, or they go, if I talk about like being fat, now I don't care about being fat, but when I talk about it, people say you're beautiful. And I'm just like, I never said that I was ugly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. In that moment, they're like equating like beauty to
right.
a certain size, whether they mean to or not, whether they realize it or not. And I actually had a similar situation happen last week at work, and I had mentioned something about my size, and my friends were like, shut up, you're beautiful. And I said I was big. I didn't say I was beautiful. And like, I didn't take it any type of way, of course, because I know that they weren't trying to like come at me sideways or anything like that. But it's just like, that's not, it's crazy. I don't want to say weird. It's crazy how, like, because of the society that we have just been brainwashed into thinking a certain way for so long, like, it's like, we sometimes equate beauty to being one size, whether we recognize it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I think
just
also that with having people with big platforms that are our sizes too, really gives us something to believe in, to look at. It's just like seeing a black doll and having, black kids have black dolls, so they know that there are, that's beautiful too. You know what I mean? Seeing like a person like Lizzo.
Yes.
It helps me.
I love her.
I love Lizzo's whole being, literally. But that's because everything that she has confidently, it sparks that in me. I know that if she can do this, I can be beautiful and be happy about that too. Why do I have to hide that? Why do I have to not show it off? Because, like you said, like a person would take a picture of us and use us as a joke, you know what I mean? Or the tax remarks and whatever. Like, you know what? Sometimes people are just gonna say what they're gonna say. As long as you feel how you feel at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to move on with it. Like, we can't change people's minds of how they want to. And you know what? I'm sorry to just like change the whole subject, but
no, it's fine.
It just hit me right now. When people say remarks, I don't believe that they're saying it to be mean to me anymore. I really believe that you have your own shit going on. I'm sorry to curse. You have your own stuff going on, and that's why you're saying that to me. I don't ever think it's because you want to be mean to me. I feel like you're literally going through something. You don't want to acknowledge it, so you're reacting towards me because you can't deal with your own stuff. So I'll take it from you then. I'll take the remark because you couldn't handle it, so I'll handle it for you. And that's just how I feel sometimes. Like, you're just gonna have to say what you have to say, and I'm just gonna move on and still be happy. You can't change that. You can't take that from me.
I love that for you, girl. The amount of growth I've seen in you since high school is amazing, and you are literally thriving, and I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, just got our
I'm really
10 notes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, that's so rude. Zoom does not want me to be great, and I keep telling Casey that it does not want me to be great, and it is sad. So, but I definitely,
you're making it work anyways.
Yes, I definitely feel no matter how limited Zoom makes these conversations, I definitely think that in the small amount of time frame that we did have, I definitely think that we sparked a really incredible conversation. I really do. And I hope that it gets people thinking about maybe how they react to certain things in life, and just thinking, you know, like, it is this way for bigger women, but it also is this way for smaller women too. Like, it's just a societal thing that we need a reset on. Yes, I did that, pun intended. That just happened. But I definitely think it sparked hopefully a conversation that'll go a little bit further amongst people that will be watching the show and get them thinking a little bit.
Do you have any advice for people who are like dealing with body positivity?
Oh man, now I'm the one being put on the spot. Oh,
how about you?
Oh man, I mean, speaking from experience, I mean, like you said, it really is wanting to not feel that way anymore. A lot of it is like mental, a lot of it is emotional and your mindset, but a lot of it also is too, that I have found in myself is like, you can adore people of all shapes and sizes and just love them because of how they are and how they look, but oftentimes it's very difficult to feel that way about yourself. So it's kind of just taking that, what you externalize in terms of what you find beautiful in other people, and internalizing it for once and being like, well, if they're beautiful for how they are, why is it different for me? And just taking that and doing a lot of like internal work and figuring out why you feel the way you feel. I mean, I know for me growing up, it was a lot of my environment. It was a lot of society in general. A lot of struggles with like an eating disorder that popped off in high school and stuff like that. But it really is just trying to remind yourself that, like, if you can love other people for how they are, why is it so different for you? Like, you wouldn't go up to your friend who is either your same size or bigger or smaller and knock them down for how they look naturally. So why is it okay to do it to yourself? And just kind of figuring out a game plan to like change your mindset a bit and change your environment and who you're surrounded by and all that. I don't know. I don't know how great of advice that was, but
I love it.
I was trying to think of me personally. Yeah. And it's really about doing the hard work, because it's difficult getting to that point where you love yourself. I mean, I'm not 100%. I still have my days. I can't think of anyone that I know that just loves themselves 100% all the time. And that's okay. It's a work in progress. You are a work in progress, and it's going to take time and it's going to take a lot of work, but it's not impossible. Because anything you learn can be unlearned. So
absolutely.
You know what? You're right.
That would be my advice.
I would say, for advice wise, it sounds probably crazy, but usually we feel loneliness even when we're alone or with people. And that's where it starts, because we don't want to be alone, and then we antagonize our body. Yeah. For me, it was spending more time by myself. So once I got my own apartment and I was able to be stable, I spent a lot more time by myself. It wasn't because I didn't want people to see me. It was because, why am I feeling this way about myself? So you have to really get to know yourself. Why do you feel the way you feel? Think about it. Think about everything that you went through growing up, the biggest memories that come to mind, take them in, accept them, and then try to think of why. And if you can't get that conclusion, spend more time with yourself. When you're getting out the shower and you're lotioning your body, don't rush on it. Move slower. Look at each part of your skin, look at each part of your body, admire it. This is you. This is a piece of you. This was created. This was created for you. No one can have the same features that you have. Accept it and love it. It's just like meeting a person and falling in love in a relationship. You are not going to like everything about that person, but what you will do is, what is the word? I had a brain fart. You will like accept certain things because you love a person that much. It might not be like big flaws, but like, he doesn't clean up that much, but it's okay because I love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like that for yourself. Like, oh, I don't like these stretch marks, but you know what? That comes with the body when you gain weight and lose weight. Okay, whatever. People have stretch marks all the time, whether they're big, small, or pregnant. You're gonna get them one day. So you just have to really love yourself completely. Spend time by yourself. Talk to yourself. Even if you don't talk to yourself, just sit there, listen to music. Listen to, what is it? It's like some type of instrumentals. Listen to instrumentals on YouTube and just sit there and think, acknowledge your thoughts, come up with a conversation about it in your head. Take it in and let it go. Release it. Don't hold on to it because that's just going to eat at you. Forgive yourself for hurting yourself. Love yourself. Tell yourself in the mirror that you love yourself, because those are the things that I do, especially when I'm having days, like you said, we're not always confident. Those are the days where I really have to sit down and I will really tell people like, I'm short on energy today. We can't hang out. And I'm taking that day for myself because I need to refresh my energy. I need to, reload and get my confidence back up there. Why am I feeling so bad today? And I do the same thing over again. I don't let people think that I'm always confident, but I always tell them like, it's a big thing to carry. It is. People see confidence and they expect you to be that way forever. And it's not my responsibility to be confident for you. Yeah. So, when you fall off, just reload, regenerate, recharge. Like,
absolutely.
Heck yes.
What about you, Katie?
Right. We're over here. Just talking.
I know.
No, I love it. I feel like you guys said everything that I would have said. I just absolutely the idea of having a relationship with yourself. I feel like that's the thing that people don't understand about confidence and self-love. That's my biggest thing. Like when I coach, that's what I tell people is like, that's what we're going to be working on developing, because that's where you start to fall in love with yourself, where you can show yourself that compassion and that understanding that you would give, a friend,
right. What would you tell your friend?
To your best friend?
Exactly.
Say like, man, you look like garbage. Why'd you leave your house today? Like,
right. You're not going to say that.
Say that. Why would you say
yourself.
that to yourself? Why would you do that? Right?
We didn't deserve that. No.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, no, I feel like you guys hit all the points that I would have said, and just really hammering home on that, finding that compassion for yourself. If it's too much to look at yourself in the mirror, if it's too much to look directly at yourself, focusing up here first.
Right.
How do you talk to yourself?
Right.
What kinds of words do you use?
Building those small habits.
Changing that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's just the small things, girl. I was buying myself flowers. I was going
yes, I do
little dates.
I love it.
You really have to almost date yourself a little bit,
Yeah,
and
like recording yourself,
and the rest will fall into place. Yeah, I think this was a really great conversation. But before we go,